In this video, we are continuing to look at a very strong signal for a big blizzard on the East Coast this weekend. It is almost certain that someone is going to get dumped on by snow, but the question still remains who? Will it be you? And is there anything else to look at beyond this storm? I'm going to do my best to answer all those questions and more. Welcome back, y'all. Ryan Hall here with the weather forecast. If for whatever reason you still don't follow me on Facebook and Twitter, you missed this. Check it out, an actual Snownado in Greece. A very unusual and intense winter storm struck places like Athens, Turkey, and Istanbul on Monday. This storm produced thunder, snow, and of course, snownados. You see, the waters in this part of the world are warm, right? So whenever you get that rare blast of cold air over those warm waters, it's not uncommon to see water spouts. What is incredibly uncommon is to see snow on the ground where those water spouts are moving onto shore, and whenever that funnel meets the snow, it becomes a snownado, at least according to me, okay? Okay, coming back to our side of the world here in the United States of America, we're looking at the current watches and warnings from the National Weather Service. You can see there's really two main areas of interest right now. If we come over here into the Great Lakes region all the way into coastal Maine, we've got a couple winter weather advisories out here. Obviously, if you're off one of the lakes, this is due to the potential for lake effect snow over the next couple of days. And then there's a little system that we talked about yesterday bringing some light snow into Maine, but some isolated areas here could see 3 to 5 inches of snow from this. Now zooming in over here on the south central portion of the country, we're talking about portions of Wyoming, Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas, New Mexico. We've got winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings out here. If you're in the pink in Kansas, including Goodland, Colby, Oakley, all the way down to Ness City, you're under a winter storm warning until early tomorrow morning for up to 7 inches of snow. Yeah, that's right, a little bullseye here. And yeah, I think we can take an even better look at all this on the weather models. Here we go. All right, starting off here with the NAM 3-kilometer model. This is what the radar could look like as we go into the future. And if you want to keep up with the date and time, it's always going to be listed up there above my head in Eastern time. Starting off at noon today, we're going to have those rain showers I was talking about yesterday in Louisiana, down through Mississippi, Alabama, now working into Florida. Really heavy rain out here in the middle of the Gulf, but for the most part, it's just isolated, scattered showers and the occasional thunderstorm for the most of us here on the Gulf Coast. Lake effect snow machines are going to be turned on at this time, and some of that heavier snow will be exiting Maine around this time. But look at this. This is what I've been talking about, man. Our appetizer snow showers over here are overperforming as a little bit more moisture got injected into the system, and especially there in western Kansas. Of course, in the higher elevations of Colorado, even, down in the valleys, we're talking about Denver here, we're going to see some heavy snow as well, but the anomalous situation is going to be here in Kansas. It'll be some of the heaviest snow some of you guys have seen in a little while. Let's actually pop into tomorrow. You can see that's when some of the heavier snow is going to fall in New Mexico here through 7 a.m. But as we get closer to noon on Wednesday, we're going to see another little area of convection pop up here in the panhandle of Texas. You can see a skiff of snow all the way up to maybe 2 inches before that completely gets out of here. All eyeballs are heading up here to the north a little bit as a big area of snow, light snow, but still snow, is advecting down to the south and east. And this is ingredient number 1 of our potential major blizzard that we're going to spend the vast majority of the rest of this video talking about. All right, switching over here to the GFS ensembles and zooming out to the entire continent of North America so we can take a look at the update on our big blizzard. Okay, we're going to look at the synoptic pattern, just see if anything has changed. Let's skibbity bop bop right on over to Friday, January 28th at 10 p.m. That's when our big cross-planetary wave is going to be coming up here and allowing for that trough to dig in and potentially form our storm somewhere down here south and east of Hatteras, south and east of the Carolinas. Everything's still looking pretty good with that polar jet dipping down. The subtropical jet is amped and heading right in the right direction. And our trough is, at least from what I can tell, a little bit negatively tilted here to allow that storm to ride up the coast. We are still missing a significant block directly east of the storm, so it's still possible that this is going to be progressive and slide out to sea. But what the model shows right now is very, very similar to what we were looking at yesterday. But my concerns, once again, with that blocking over here are coming to fruition as it is sliding a little bit further east than what you would want to see it if you're looking for snow. Now, I know a lot of you guys way up here in extreme northeastern United States, you're not necessarily looking for snow. I know I get excited when I talk about snow. I'm going to try to contain that a little bit more, but I also know that there are a lot of you who are also excited. So according to this model, our two options is that this storm's either going to hug the coast, and this is bad if you don't want snow, or this storm is going to hug hug the western edge of the Gulf Stream, which is good if you don't want snow. Overall, the signal is still there for a very strong storm to happen on the East Coast. And remember, we're still talking about a signal right now. A signal does not mean that this is certainly going to happen. Once this converts over to a threat, that's when we're going to talk about certainties and really nailing down the track. And this will become a threat tonight if the models continue to show this. So stay tuned, slap that like button, subscribe, and all that good stuff so you don't miss a single update. Okay, continuing to look at the GFS ensembles here, we're going to get down into the nitty gritty and really watch our trough and see what's going to happen as far as all of the ingredients that have to be in place for a big winter storm here. Okay, so if we go all the way back to January 27th at 7 p.m., I want you to imagine that this trough is a baseball bat. That is a terrible baseball bat. So it looks a little bit more like a chicken leg that you've taken a bite out of, but work with me here and imagine that that's a baseball bat. Then imagine that wherever you are on the northeast coast, you're the baseball. This trough has to swing through the United States, become negatively tilted before it hits the baseball bat, and then hit it with force, and that's going to produce a home run. If you're familiar with baseball, you know that's around the time that you want to make contact with the ball to get it to go the furthest. And let's just imagine that this trough remains positively tilted and it kind of hits the ball like this. It's going to go this way. It's still going to be a good hit. It'll probably be like a foul ball or like a grounder to the second baseman or something like that. It's not going to be anything significant. So you want to see this trough, these little dips in the lines here, you want to see that become negatively tilted by the time it gets over here to the East Coast. And this does happen on the ensembles, but it's just a little bit too late. If the ball was over here, that would be a perfect scenario, right? But I know a lot of people watching this that could be potentially be impacted are on the East Coast, the I-95 corridor from DC all the way up to Boston and into coastal Maine. In order to see a more high definition version of what could happen, we're going to have to look at the deterministic runs, and that's where we really start to look at the volatility of this forecast. All right, here we are looking at the latest run of the GFS model, and we're looking at our swirly things once again, okay? There's two main areas I want you to notice, okay? We've got a little bit of a storm coming together here. This is going to be our main piece of energy, and then we have a very large area of convection and energy and disturbance, whatever you want to call it, down here in the Four Corners region that we were just looking at on the ensembles. And this right here plays a massive role in how strong this storm is going to be on the East Coast. Now let's put this thing into motion. By the time we get into Friday, January 28th, look what's happening. Our baseball bat is making a swing here. It's still positively tilted. Remember, if it points to the south and west, it's positively tilted. If it points to the south and east, it's negatively tilted. But look at this. All that energy from the Four Corners region is just kind of getting spread out and left behind here. So that takes away momentum from the swing. But here we go. It still tilts negatively right around 10 p.m. on January 29th. And once again, if the baseball was right here, that would be absolutely perfect. But this shows, for the most part, a significant snowstorm, but only for the extreme northeastern portion of the United States. Watch that baseball bat swing again, okay? We get a full rotation, but it's not the most proper swing. How many baseball fans do we have right here, okay? What you just saw is a baseball swing like this. You have the momentum coming through, but when it comes time to hit the ball, you're only using your wrists, right? So, that does not lead to a home run, right? Now, don't get me wrong. The GFS is still showing a big storm here, okay? It starts snowing heavily from the Appalachian Mountains into the Mid-Atlantic region, early in the morning on Saturday. That low pressure system does interact with that trough, and it still bombs out and becomes a 977 millibar low. But it's further east, okay, and this really mainly only affects the extreme eastern portion of the New England coastline as far as like a major storm would go. And then, of course, it's a huge hit for Nova Scotia, especially near the Bay of Fundy there, near Digby. And then it's all rain for Newfoundland, but still, like, this is a very realistic thing that could happen. But hey, that's the GFS model. There's more models than that, okay? Let's take a look at the Euro. Checking out the 0Z Euro on the swirly things model, and look at this. All of that energy that was hanging out over here has been picked up, okay? So now the momentum of that baseball bat swing has increased. It picks it up, and then boom. Talk about a negative tilt and a powerful swing and an absolute, not only a home run, but a slam dunk, a touchdown, and a grand slam all at the same time here for the Northeast. The Euro shows a very similar outcome as to what we were kind of, hinting at yesterday, a historic blizzard for a lot of people in the Northeast. And really the main difference here, if we look at the precipitation type map, is everybody over here in that red circle is going to see more snow. The big thing here is because the storm picked up that energy back here in the Four Corners, it's stronger. So it's going to have the tendency to kind of curve back and interact with that negative tilt on that trough a little bit more. And my goodness, the Euro is showing, once again, a historic blizzard for the Northeast. According to the Euro, by 10 a.m. on Saturday, we're going to see heavy snow all the way from Virginia Beach, all the way up into the Delmarva, all of New Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, of course, New York City and Long Island, Cape Cod, and then, you see it. And not only are we talking about heavy snow, we're talking about hurricane force wind gusts on Long Island and in Boston. And then out to sea here, some areas with 100-mile-an-hour winds. Okay, so we're talking about Category 2 hurricane with snow, all right? Like that's, you don't necessarily want to see that. When I root for snow, I like the peaceful snow, okay? I love to see it pile up. It's my dream to have like 2 feet of snow every winter in my backyard. But when you add the hurricane force winds and, a lot of the bad stuff that can come along with a storm like this, it's not as fun, right? So if the Euro model here was to come to fruition, it would be a bad situation for sure. Because not only would you have to worry about the feet of snow in the main axis of activity here, you would also have to worry about power outages, damage to trees and stuff, and then once again, maybe even a significant coastal flooding all the way up and down the New England coast there. According to the Euro model, this is a big hit from Virginia Beach, who gets a foot of snow, all the way up into New York City, who gets almost 30 inches of snow, and then you can kind of read the numbers for yourself here. It's very important to not get too attached to this image because it will change, but this is a big hit, and it would most certainly be a memorable blizzard. But going back to what I've been harping on this entire time, the forecast here is extremely volatile. Let's look at the GFS output. This is what the GFS is saying, okay? It's showing no snow for Virginia Beach pretty much. A couple inches here in New York City, and we still get a big hit in Boston and Cape Cod, and especially over here in coastal Maine, which still sees 30 inches of snow, and then on up into Nova Scotia. But that's a big difference. And this is why it's important that, I communicate to you all the uncertainty and continue to call this a signal for a storm and not a threat. Once again, we are very close to really nailing down whether or not this is going to happen and where it's going to happen. Do what you want to with that. If you want to buy your milk and bread already, that's not on me. But I promise I will let you know tonight or tomorrow morning when the video comes out. It depends on where you follow me at, whether or not this is going to happen or the other option is going to happen or something in between. All right, Ryan, I'm done hearing about the East Coast. I live in Kansas. I live in Missouri. What's going to happen elsewhere in the U.S. after this storm? Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about now. Our big cold front's going to come down, interact with that energy, and then bada bing, bada boom, massive historic East Coast storm over here on Saturday, January 29th. This is going to bring down a big area of cold air for a lot of the Ohio Valley, even down into Florida. This is something that I've been talking about for a long time. Some record lows could be set down here and even into Sunday. Look at this, guys. We could be in the 40s, approaching the 30s in Miami. This doesn't happen very often. And in the panhandle up here, we're talking about the 20s. Some of you guys laughed at me when I initially mentioned this. But when you got a big bowling ball coming through like this, cold air comes down, guys. And then beyond that, we are going to see a brief period of quiet weather across the U.S. On Sunday into Monday. And then what's going to happen is another big storm's going to come down here into the Pacific Northwest. You guys are going to be looking at snow, some heavy rain, and some of that is going to make it all the way down into California, into Idaho as well. And look at this. Another piece of energy has kind of just bubbled up here in the Gulf of Mexico. Are they going to meet? Oh my goodness. According to the Euro model, on February 2nd, we're going to see another big mid-latitude cyclone form here and more than likely cause some trouble, not only with snow, right? This is showing a potential snowstorm and maybe even ice storm for a lot of the central U.S. all the way up into the Great Lakes region in the upper Midwest. We got to worry about severe weather again, okay? Maybe on February 3rd or February 4th, somewhere around that time frame, we're going to see a line of severe thunderstorms, possibly tornadoes in the deep south at the same time as a big time blockbuster winter storm is happening back here in the upper Midwest. So this is way far out. How far out? 200 hours out. So things are going to change there. But if anything is on the table as far as stuff that we need to watch, this is it after our storm that we're talking about right now. I like to take it one storm at a time though. And yes, the GFS has by far been the most accurate here as far as long-term predictions go. Snownado, and it does also support a very similar idea with this storm all the way out on February 3rd and 4th. Ultra mega shout out to our friends scrolling by over here. Our channel members are the reason I'm able to do this and spend literally every single waking minute of my life thinking about the weather for you guys. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I'm going to be doing a members only live stream either tomorrow night or the night after that, talking about the in-depth intricacies of this storm coming up, so make sure you're ready for that. So thank you to our channel members, guys. I'm going to be making a TikTok right after this, an Instagram post, a Twitter. Buddy, I'm slinging the content out everywhere, so if you want to, follow me on all those places, but if you don't, I will see you right here tomorrow, okay? Goodbye.